Tribe of Names, Simon speaking, and welcome back to the channel. And today we are talking about guitars, and specifically the Squire Paranormal Offset Telecaster. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Simon Godfrey and I'm a professional musician who has spent the past 30 to 35 years working in and sometimes around the recording music industry, writing and performing. On this channel we provide tips and tricks for the aspiring songwriter and musician in you. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing and clicking on the bell icon so you can be notified of any new videos that we produce. Well, with all of that admin out of the way, let's go back to November of 2020 when I received the Offset Telecaster, and here's the unboxing. Thank you to the Music Zeal. Let's see what we got. Usual truss rod adjusters. Oh, I get something from my Squire. I wonder why it's silver on the top. That, my friends, is a Fender Squire Paranormal Offset Telecaster. So as you can plainly see, this is not a standard telly shape, but that's largely been the point of the Paranormal series, which was developed by Fender. The Offset Telecaster sports an Akumi hardwood body with a modern C-shaped 22 fret bolt-on maple neck. It has vintage style tuners, a three-way pickup selector, more of which later, and a through-the-body, three-saddle vintage-style bridge. The neck radius is 9.5 inches, that's 241 millimeters, with a standard Fender scale length of 25.5 inches, which is 648 millimeters. The nut is made of synthetic bone with a nut width of 1.650 inches, which is 42 millimeters. This guitar was issued as a limited run in 2020 and has since been discontinued, but you can still pick up new and second-hand copies between $300 and $400 in the US. So if you're watching this video and asking yourself, why on earth is that professional musician buying a Squire Telecaster, you'd be asking a very reasonable question. And the answer to that pretty much comes in three parts. First off, I'm not a supremely rich professional musician, and as a result budget concerns really are something which are important to me. Secondly is I had a very good experience back in the 90s purchasing my Squire Chinese made Stratocaster, which became actually my default live instrument for many years. And as a result of that experience, I thought it's a great idea to try and see if I can repeat that exercise in 2021. And finally, it's probably safe to say that this Telecaster is not going to remain stock, and that's part of the reason why I'm doing this video, because today I'm heading up to our guitarist in Tribe of Names, Karl Eisenhart, who is also a very gifted guitar technician, and we're going to be putting some modifications into this thing. So here I am in, are we in Reading?
No, we are in West Coastville.
West Coastville, I apologise. We're in West Coastville in Pennsylvania.
Suburb of Allentown.
There you go. So, and we're here in Karl Eisenhart, Tribe of Names guitarist, sort of studio come workshop come secret villain headquarters, basically. It's actually buried in a volcano, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there we are. So yeah, we've brought the Offset Telecaster for Karl to cast an expert eye across. So yeah, here's the guitar. What do you think of it as a sort of like a stock Squire then, Karl?
It's cool. I mean, it's definitely an interesting looking guitar. I'm interested to hear what the new pickups sound like in that body. I think it's going to have a little bit of a huskier sound than your Telecaster does. Because the Tele's got an alder body, if I'm not mistaken. So I think this is going to be a little bit thicker sounding.
Yeah.
But I really like it. The neck shape is good. It's narrow, but...
it's a very modern neck feel, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We may want to look at those tuners again down the road. I think they'll work fine, but vintage tuners are just sort of an added headache sometimes.
So here we are. The pickups are nearly out. The scratch plate is off. Karl, what are we doing basically to this guitar today?
We're going to cut this pick guard out, to put this 59 in it. Wire that all into 2 different pots. We're going to put 500K pots in there, and put the what are these things called? Tex-Mex. Put the Tex-Mex bridge pickup in it. That's the bulk of the work. Flip the control plate around, file down the edge of these frets because they're sticking out a little bit, and put strap locks on it.
Sounds
It'll
good.
be a whole new guitar.
So in the next position, we're putting in some Seymour Duncan 59 pickups. What are your opinions about these pickups then?
I'm a big fan. It's supposed to be a close recreation of the pickups that Gibson was making in the late 50s. I've always thought they had a really great warm sound. I'm just now noticing that it's a very shallow pickup compared to what I'm used to looking at.
Oh yeah,
a little bit. I've mapped out the cutout in the pick guard using this pickup cover that I have lying around, so we can take a Dremel tool and cut that thing out. Hopefully it'll come out looking okay. This is a 2-wire pickup, so we can't hook up. I was thinking about maybe doing a coil split, but we've only got 2 wires, so we're going to skip that.
Oh, that's fine.
Less soldering for me to do.
Yes, well, this is going to be this is what I call a pub guitar.
Yes.
So it's not really, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here.
We're just going to do some digging here and see what we can ruin.
Okay. So what are you doing here then, Karl?
I am just taking out all of the old electronics to remove the old pickup wiring. Try to leave as much of it intact as I can, but a lot of it's going to have to come out. Let's see, the grounds for the pickups are here, it looks like. Also try not to rub the soldering iron up against your finger at any point, because
these are 250K. We're putting 500K pots in. Could you give me a little bit of a background as to why we'd want to do that?
I'm happy you asked, because I know. The 250K takes off a lot of high end from the signal. 500 takes off quite a bit less, and you can actually get, I have one right here, you can get a 1 meg pot that takes up almost none of the high end. If you put a 500K pot with a single coil pickup, it sounds very bright and harsh. Likewise, if you put a 250K with a humbucker, it kind of gets sort of a murky sound. Some people really love that. I know for a fact that Steve Morse loves that. Because my Steve Morse model has 250K pots in it, which that's what these were going to change. Because I want a little bit more bite from the thing. But usually you'll find 500K pots when you're dealing with humbuckers. And the extra edge that it's going to put on the Tex-Mex bridge pickup, I think will be pretty pleasing. I've done it before on a couple of guitars, and I think we'll like that. It's going to put a little bit more of an edge on it.
You're not going to be putting this in the guitar, are you?
No. Well, we definitely be putting some of his hair. That's going to be in there whether you want it or not.
So you've now affixed the 500K pots then, is that what you've...
I have. They're in there. We had to change the control plate because they were a wider shaft diameter. That's what she said. So changed the control plate out, and now I'm just wiring everything up, and I'm trying to remember to do it backwards the first time so I don't have to rearrange it.
Hey there, this is Simon from Slightly in the Future. I was just editing this video and I realised you might not actually understand what Karl is talking about when he says reversing the control plate. And basically what happened is I actually have a reverse control plate on my Telecaster, which actually came stock with the Telecaster when I bought it, and I got used to it. So the volume control is actually at the front with the tone control in the middle, and the actual pickup selector is at the back. Which is normally the other way round on stock Telecasters, and I actually really like it that way. It allows me to get some sort of great access to volume swells and almost wah-wah-like tones if I use the tone control. So I wanted that on this new Squire Offset Telecaster modified because I was used to playing it. Anyway, back to the video.
But because of that, I need to put a longer output wire on it. So
that's
my next move.
Yeah, that looks in great shape. It looks like I can play that at any second.
Ready to go. So
Karl is now putting in the Tex-Mex bridge pickup, and I think did you say you just found something interesting about the earth wire?
Yeah, the ground wire on this was very, very short, and what I'm assuming I meant to do is solder it to the ground wire that grounds the bridge, which just sits underneath the bridge.
Okay, yeah, I see.
So because it's too short to go through the hole and out to the control cavity. it'll be nice because it'll be one less wire that I've got to fish through and have crowding up the cavity. Although I'm noticing now that it's a little bit of a struggle to get that to sit
Sit
get
flat.
the bridge to sit flat.
Yeah.
It might have to do, I don't know, something interesting to look at a couple of different things.
Well,
it's possible that on, I would bet that on a guitar that would normally have this installed in it, have this pickup installed, they've probably got a hole through.
Ah, right, yeah, I get it.
That's probably what that's for. So maybe we'll be getting the drill out. I don't know.
Okay, so how are we doing?
We're doing real well. We're going to screw down the pick guard and we're going to play this thing.
Yay!
So 4 hours is what it takes to
change
one
out
of
the
these
pickups
things into submission. Yeah. Although probably if we weren't talking the whole time, we could get it done faster.
So then, I'm back from Karl's. It was a very enjoyable experience. So let's take the guitar inside and see what the modifications sound like. So, now we're back in my studio. Let me just quickly sum up the modifications that Karl performed on my offset Telecaster. What we did is we swapped the stock pickups out, and in the neck position I now have a Seymour Duncan 59 humbucker, and in the back I have a Fender Tex-Mex Single-Coil, which gives me a lot more sonic options, much more similar to the other sounds I have available on the Telecaster I showed you a little bit earlier. In addition to that, we swapped out the original 250k pots that were lurking underneath this control plate for 500k pots to allow a little bit more clarity, and of course, as I mentioned before, we swapped round the control plate to allow me, well, a little bit more familiarity, because again, as I said before, that's what's actually available to me on my original Telecaster, which I use for most of my live situations. So now that we have all of that out of the way, let's do a little bit of a comparison. I recorded the guitar with the stock pickups a couple of days ago, and what I'll try and do is I'll try and mimic those basic chords with the current setup that I have in this guitar. So there we have it, a very quick tour through the pickup selections before and after the modifications were applied to the guitar, I think Karl was actually spot on the money when he said that the guitar would sound a little huskier, especially through the Seymour Duncan 59 humbucker at the front in the neck position. But I also think that there's a lot more clarity and a kind of crystalline quality with the Tex-Mex pickup sitting in the bridge position. Now I think there's probably going to be a little bit more work to balance them out. I certainly noticed when I was playing it that the humbucker was a lot louder, and so there probably will be another return trip to Karl's to adjust the pickup height of the Tex-Mex to balance out the pickups just a little bit more volume wise. So what's next for this offset Telecaster of mine? Well, if I'm being really honest with you, I probably will be swapping out the neck at some point in the future because it's just a little bit thin for my liking. I tend to like a little bit more heft as I'm holding onto the neck. And also, if I'm getting rid of the neck, I might actually consider replacing the tuners on these as well, just for something a little bit more stable. Although, having said that, the tuning on this has been great so far. I've had no real complaints. But I'm not entirely sure exactly how it will handle itself under stage lights without a bit of an upgrade in the tuner department. So all that remains to be said is thank you very much for hanging around to the end of this video. We really appreciate it. Once again, if you like what you saw today, please consider subscribing and click on that bell notification icon if you do. That way you'll be updated instantly whenever new video material is released at this channel. So from me, Simon, wishing you, Tribe of Names, a good rest of the week. Take care. Goodbye.